As a vampire, I once saved a stray wolf pup, my mortal enemy, from the streets. Little did I know that 10 years later, he would lead his pack of wolves to destroy my clan and trap me in an ancient castle. Seeing my cold demeanor, he brought in a human woman as a substitute. The substitute, arrogant from her favoritism, treated me like a mere imitation, mocking me as though I was a seductress trying to mimic her appearance. She slashed my face with silverware, crushed my limbs with her boots, and then presented my bloodied form to Alex. "Honey, that wretched woman is using black magic to impersonate me. Look, she even has the same birthmark on her face." Chapter 1. I was the last heir of my clan, the final vampire in existence, and the woman whom the werewolf king could never conquer. Despite the bitter rivalry between vampires and werewolves, I once saved a stray wolf pup. And from that moment he became obsessively fixated on me. In just 10 years he led his wolf pack to destroy my clan, claiming dominion over the world. He trapped me in his castle, using my clan's lives as leverage, trying to force me into a fleeting moment of intimacy. But no matter what he did, he could never win my heart. Hence, Alex Campbell brought in a human woman as a substitute and showered her with affection. This woman, taking advantage of her favored position, arrogantly barged into my forbidden space. "I want to see which wretch dares to seduce Mr. Campbell," she screeched. When she saw my face, her anger exploded. She slashed my face with silver and trampled my hands under her boots. She even ripped away the ruby-like teardrop birthmark from the corner of my eye and brought it to Alex. "Honey, that wretched woman is using black magic to impersonate me. See, even the birthmark is identical. That blood-soaked night, I should have died with my clan." But just as I raised the silver dagger to end my life, Alex appeared like a shadow of the night, threatening me with the life of my only remaining family members to force me into becoming his captive. At first he placed me in the master bedroom of his castle, never leaving my side. He pampered me endlessly, treating me as though I were the most precious treasure in the world. No matter how much fresh blood I desired, he would stop at nothing to provide it. I lived in luxury in the castle, much like the days I had spent in my clan's home. He didn't hide his favoritism toward me, and I was almost lulled into believing I could sink into this comfort. But the deep-seated hatred I held for him for the massacre of my clan constantly reminded me not to let my guard down. I never showed him kindness. Despite conquering the entire world, with countless women from every tribe eager to serve him, he dismissed them all. This wolf pack leader, who was used to having everything at his feet, would only lower his pride and beg for my affection. But I could never give in, not even for a second. Doing so would be a betrayal of my fallen clan. Alex was not angered by my coldness. He always believed that if I carried his child, I would finally become compliant. So other than on the nights of the full moon, he came to me nearly every night, never letting up. And during intimacy, I would always lie there with cold indifference and watch him with a detached gaze, asking, "Are you done yet?" I would rise and leave, not sparing him a second glance, my heart a fortress. I couldn't wait a second to wash his scent off my body. One day, he finally grew angry with me. He ripped the silk robe from my body, gripping my waist as he growled, "After all these years, why are you not moved at all? Are you so unwilling to bear my child? I'll make you pregnant and keep you by my side forever." I had thought about killing him many times, but every time, he saw through my plans. I thought about running, but he threatened me with the lives of my remaining family. "Claire, no matter how much you hate me, you'll never escape. You belong to me, don't hope for a miracle. Think about your scattered clans still out there. If you dare run, I'll make sure they vanish without a trace." I couldn't risk the lives of my clan. I couldn't afford to lose them. They were the last remnants of my people. So, I resigned myself to my fate. I craved peace, so Alex had me placed in a secluded tower in the castle. He forbade anyone from entering. I could only interact with him during the night when I had no choice but to endure his presence. One day, Alex went hunting, and I rested alone on a lounge chair on the terrace. Suddenly, a commotion erupted downstairs. "Miss Kirby, the servants have warned us several times. This tower is off limits. No one can enter without Mr. Campbell's permission. We should leave ... You idiot! Do you not know who I am? I am Alex's most favored. Didn't you see all the portraits of me in his bedroom? Soon, I will be the lady of this castle." It's just a tower. What's stopping me from entering? Besides, Alex said I could do whatever I wanted here. He loved seeing me be so willful. The woman's voice was dripping with arrogance, and I could tell immediately that she was someone who thought too highly of herself. I furrowed my brow. Just a few days ago, I discovered I was pregnant. Vampires slept a lot during the early stages of pregnancy, but this noisy human had been ruining my peace. From her words, I could tell she was the substitute Alex doted on. Her name was Lisa Kirby, and she was truly enjoying her favor. She even dared break the rules Alex himself had set. I remember not long ago, a new maid got lost in the castle and accidentally opened my door. Alex immediately ordered her death. Blood stained the stone floor, and the maid's anguished screams haunted my nights. I was about to get up and tell her to leave, but unexpectedly, the door to the tower was kicked open. A woman in an opulent gown stepped into the tower, her golden hair adorned with sparkling gems. The moment she saw me, she froze for a brief second, then frowned, her eyes flashing with anger. "Who's this filthy thing daring to sneak into Alex's castle? She must be here to seduce Mr. Campbell," she yelled sharply. Her maid gently tugged at her sleeve, whispering softly, "Miss Kirby, doesn't this vampire look a bit like you?" At that, Lisa took a closer look at me, her blue eyes widening in shock and rage. Before I could say a word, she stormed toward me and slapped me hard across the face. "You filthy vampire! What evil magic did you use to impersonate me?" she roared. "Are you trying to replace me because you think Mr. Campbell loves me so much? You wretched woman! Today, I'll make you regret trying to seduce Mr. Campbell." I stared at her coldly, a wave of sarcasm rising inside me. How could I possibly want to seduce Alex when all I wanted was to escape him? It seemed Alex hadn't told her about me. She had mistaken me for some other woman trying to steal his affection. I wasn't about to waste time on someone so ignorant, so I held my temper and spoke with deliberate calm. "Miss Kirby, I'm not some vampire trying to seduce Alex, nor am I interested in competing with you for his affection. This tower is Forbidden's ground. You should leave now, or..." Before I could finish, Lisa impatiently interrupted me. "Or what? Are you going to have Mr. Campbell punish me? If you know this is a Forbidden's place, why are you even here? Why pretend to advise me to leave? I don't understand. Why does some unknown vampire get to stay here while I, as Mr. Campbell's girlfriend, can't?" I sighed, realizing how hopeless it was to reason with her. She was blissfully unaware of the dangers she was walking into. Before her, Alex had once had another substitute. The moment she spoke disrespectfully to me, Alex had ordered her tongue to be cut out. That was when I understood just how obsessive and dangerously possessive Alex had become. I was trying to warn Lisa, but it was clear she wouldn't take me seriously. Lisa pulled a silver whip from her waist and cracked it loudly against the marble floor, leaving a glaring mark. "Mr. Campbell is so handsome, powerful, and influential. No wonder you filthy vampires would think to scheme against him," she sneered. "But it's fine. I'll soon be the lady of this castle, and I think I'll start by teaching you lowly creatures a lesson." A chill ran down my spine as I watched her handle the whip with unnerving skill. Tonight was another full moon, and I was already weakened. If that whip struck me, even a vampire's resilience might not be enough to withstand the blow. I hurriedly called out, "Stop! I'm Claire Bradford. I dare you to lay a hand on me." At the sound of my name, Lisa paused, the whip halting in mid-terror. She burst into laughter, as if she had just heard the most absurd joke, sharing the moment with her maid. "Mary, did you hear that? She actually dares to say she's from the Bradford clan. How ridiculous. That clan's long gone, wiped off the face of the earth. She's such a stupid vampire that she can't even lie properly." It hit me then. Lisa, as an ordinary human, wouldn't know about the secrets of the past. She was just Alex's latest toy, unaware of the history. "Even if you are truly an orphan from the Bradford clan, today you won't escape my punishment," Lisa hissed with a cruel smile. Before I could explain, she raised her hand and cracked the whip. Instinctively, I tried to dodge, but my movements felt sluggish, slower than I expected. Though I managed to avoid the worst of the strike, the tip of the whip still cut across my arm, leaving a deep gash. I inhaled sharply, glancing down at the wound. Blood poured from the open skin, dark and thick. Worse still, the flesh around it began to turn an unnatural gray. Lisa held the whip before me, clearly enjoying my reaction. "Did you see that?" she sneered. This isn't just any whip. It was specially made for me by Mr. Campbell himself. It's meant for dealing with your kind, vampires. Her words were cruel, but her voice held an innocent cheerfulness, as though she were sharing a pleasant fact. He told me the whip's been soaked in holy water. The wound won't heal. Once it strikes, it causes vampires to rot and die. I couldn't help but glance at the whip. I had to admit, it was finely crafted. The handle was studded with colorful gemstones, and the silver whip shimmered under the light. It had Alex's signature touch, luxurious, elegant, and deadly. What an irony. I guess Alex had never imagined the whip he'd crafted would one day be used against me. I gritted my teeth against the searing pain in my arm and tried to reason with her again. You've struck me already. Will you leave now? Lisa shot me a glare, eyes burning with rage. Not a chance. This is just the beginning. Mary, tie her up. I'm going to teach her a lesson she never forget. Let her know what happens when she tries to seduce Mr. Campbell. Mary Tallman followed Lisa's orders, roughly pulling me up. She grabbed a silver chain and bound my hands tightly before hoisting me up to the beam in the tower. I was a vampire, yes, but in my weakened state from years of imprisonment, I couldn't resist. I could only endure as they toyed with me. As for the child growing inside me, I never wanted it in the first place. If I lost it, it would only solve one more problem. Lisa's whip cracked again and again across my body. Soon my silk dress was torn into rags, barely hanging from me, unable to hide the pale skin beneath. It was then that Mary's gaze fell on the crystal pendant hanging from my neck. "Miss Kirby, look at what the vampire's wearing around her neck," she said, swiftly snatching the pendant and holding it up in front of Lisa. "No, please, give it back." I dropped all pretense of nobility and begged, desperation flooding my voice. The pendant wasn't valuable in itself, but it contained the last remnants of my parents' spirits. It was my final connection to them. "I have to say it's pretty," Lisa said, examining the pendant with a smirk. "But I'm sure it's stolen, right? How could a dying vampire like you have something like this?" With those words, she made a move as though to crush it beneath her heel. I panicked, crying out in horror, "Please, don't break it. I'll do anything you want." Lisa's face lit up with glee at my distress. "You're pathetic. A despicable little vampire so desperate over a trinket. It's not like it's worth anything. In my house, even my maids wouldn't look twice at it. However..." She paused, still toying with the pendant. "I'm reasonable. Mary, take her down. Your filthy blood has gotten on my shoes. How about this? Crawl over here and lick them clean with your tongue, and I'll return the pendant to you." Lisa casually settled herself in a lavish armchair, spinning the pendant between her fingers while her feet swayed idly. I dropped heavily to the ground, pain shooting through my body. But when my eyes landed on the pendant, I clenched my teeth and forced out one word. "Fine."